You must have heard that all the screens that we see, whether they are our laptop screens or TV screens, have pixels. So what are pixels? Well, every screen is divided into a number of small squares. It's like a grid. Each square is known as a pixel, but the size of the squares may vary. So, a screen like this has more pixels than this screen. The picture quality of this screen with higher number of pixels will be better than of this screen. So we can say that this screen has higher pixel density than this other screen. What we understand by pixel density is that it is the number of pixels present per unit of the screen. Usually it is measured in terms of per inch of the screen or ppi. For example, Google's Pixel 3 has a pixel density of 440 ppi or pixels per inch, while Samsung Galaxy S10 has a pixel density of 550 ppi. The more the pixel density, the better is the display quality. Let's look at these two screens with different pixel densities. Now let's say we want to give a margin in these screens. And we understand now that the margin will be given in terms of pixels. So let's say we want a left margin of 1 pixel. Now, the margin will be of different widths in both these screens as you can see here. But we do not want that, right? When we are creating UIs for our app, we will want it to be consistent on all screens, irrelevant of the resolution or pixel density of the screen, right? That's when we use the concept of DP or density independent pixels. Now, when we give a margin of let's say 5 dp, the margin size will be the same in both these cases. So let's say we give the margin as 5 pixels for these two screens with different pixel densities. Both the margins are different, right? But if we give the margin as 5 dp for both, the margins will remain the same irrespective of the pixel density of the screen. This is the benefit of using dp as a unit for defining margins rather than pixels. Now, when we need to define the size of the text, we use SP or scalable pixels. The unit SP is similar to dp, but it resizes the text size based on the user's preference. So let's say the user goes to the settings of the device and makes the font size large. The font of the app will scale accordingly. This is what we mean by resizing the text size based on user's preference. So that was all about DP and SP. Now let's get back to our IDE and give this text some size. So type text size and choose from the options here. Now let's give it a size of 18 SP. We see that this gets reflected here and now the text size has increased. But if you see, the boundary of this text view in which the text is enclosed is very small. Hence, this other text is very close to this text. Now, to make it look better, we'll add some padding here. To do this, let's type padding and choose from the suggestions. Let's give it a value of 8 dp. Let's understand what padding is now. Every text has a container within which it is enclosed. Every view has a container. Padding helps us increase the size of this container. So what is the difference between margin and padding? Well, margin is used to shift any view, in this case the text view, from the boundary of the parent layout. So, it creates space between the container and the outside environment. Padding, on the other hand, creates space between the view inside the container and the container's boundary. For example, this space will be margin while this will be padding. Now, just like we have different margins like left margin, right margin, margin from top and bottom, etc., similarly, we have paddings from different sides. Go ahead and experiment with different types of margins and padding. These can be added as attributes to any view. Remember to give their values in dp, while the size of the text will always be given in SP. So we have changed the size of this text and it looks much better now. Now let's change the style and color of this text. We'll start by typing style and choose this option. Now give its value as bold. Yes, the text gets bold. Now let's type text color and choose this option. And we'll give its color as blue. Now if you see that the color did not change, in fact the text also went away. Why did this happen? Well, that's because colors are always specified in terms of their codes and not their colors. Don't worry, you won't have to remember any codes. You can simply go to this website and look for the color codes that you want to use. The link is also being given in the helper text below. Now let's copy this code along with the hash sign and paste it in our layout file. These codes are called hex codes. Now if you see, the color for the text got changed to blue. Okay, let's make some changes to this other text view also. Let's add some margin and padding to this text and increase the text size as well. We are adding style as italic here. And also we are making the color of this text red. Now, we have added two text views and formatted them as well. It's time to add an image view now. Let's add a new child tag here called image view. Remember to add the backslash to all the tags that you add, else your code will give an error. Let's give it a height and width of 150 dp each. Now let's say we want to add a margin of 20 dp from all sides. Do we need to add different margin attributes for this? Well, no. To add a consistent margin on all sides, you can simply type margin and choose this simple margin attribute. Now give it a value of 20 dp. Yes, the margin gets added on all sides. Now we need to add the image that this view will show, right? Well, do you remember anything about adding images from the previous videos? Don't worry if you don't. While we were taking a tour of the Android Studio, we said that all images need to be placed inside the drawable file, and we will refer to these images in our code files. Now, before we place any image in this file, we need to make sure of a few things. The image should be of a small size, that is between 200 to 300 KB. That's because if we keep images of large sizes, they will use up a lot of RAM and the image will load really slowly. Next, the image should be in PNG format. Please don't keep the images in JPG or JPEG or any other format. Next, the name of the image should be in a format like this. The name cannot have any capital letters, numbers or special characters except the underscore. Also, whenever you name a resource, you should name them in a way that can help us identify later what the resource is. Right now, we will use this image of Tony Stark for our UI screen. You can get the image from this link. The link is also being given in the helper text below. Now for placing this image in the drawable folder, simply copy this image from here. Now here, place the cursor on the drawable folder and press Ctrl+V. In the dialog box that opens up, select Drawable Folder and click on OK. Now give the image a proper name using the conventions we have discussed just now. The image added can be seen in the drawable folder. So let's go back to our XML file and add this image to image view. To do this, we need to add an attribute called source. Type src and select this option. When we give the source of our image, we will first have to give the name of the directory in which it is placed. The name of the directory will come after the @ symbol. Type @, then type draw. You will get some options here. Select your file from here and hit enter. If you see, the image gets added here to the layout. Now let's run the app and see all this on our devices. As you can see, this is what the screen looks like. Congratulations on creating your first UI screen. Click Next to learn more.